The yellow cabin readiness card rested on the jump seat ledge, a blue pen clipped neatly across its surface. Lorna Vance moved down the list with deliberate strokes, checking each box in turn. Overhead bins, infant seats, aisle clear, crew sign-off. Sable Air Flight 623 sat motionless at Gate B-17 in Atlanta, its nose pointed toward Seattle yet going nowhere. Passengers drifted past row 22. Jackets folded over their arms, paper cups clutched in their hands, the low hum of boarding carrying an undercurrent of impatience. A roller bag thumped against an aisle seat. A man in a gray suit offered a muttered apology without breaking stride. Maya Rivera lingered near the forward galley, quietly counting seatbelt extenders from a small plastic pouch. In 22B, Silas Mercer sat with his hands folded over his phone. His Air Force dress blues remained crisp, though the collar had softened after too many hours in transit. His rucksack was already stowed above him, turned sideways to save space, a small automatic habit forged on long journeys. The Bell family reached his row last. Trevor Bell carried baby Nora against one shoulder, while Paige Bell balanced the infant car seat in one hand and a black diaper bag in the other. A formula pouch was clipped to the strap, a clear medication sleeve tucked into the outer pocket. Paige glanced up at the overhead bin. There was room, but only just. "I think it will fit if I turn it," she said softly. Lorna stepped into the aisle before Paige could lift the bag. "That bag will need to be checked." Paige's fingers tightened around the strap. "It has her formula and medicine." "Then you should keep the essentials under the seat. The car seat goes there." Lorna's eyes flicked over the car seat label, then the diaper bag, then the line of passengers waiting behind them. She did not touch the bag. She did not check the bin. Her pen tapped once against the yellow card. "Ma'am, we have a departure sequence to meet." Baby Nora made a small, fretful sound against Trevor's shoulder. He shifted his feet, trying to make himself smaller in the narrow aisle. Silas looked at the bin again. His rucksack was occupying the square corner. "May I make room?" he asked. Lorna's gaze moved to his uniform, then to his face. "Sir, remain seated. The aisle is blocked either way." "I can fix it in a few seconds." Silas stood slowly, one hand resting on the seat back, careful not to crowd her. He opened the bin, turned his rucksack flat against the sidewall, slid a folded jacket out of the way, and placed the diaper bag on its edge so the medication sleeve faced outward. The bin door closed with a clean, decisive click. Trevor exhaled through his nose. "Thank you, Sergeant." Silas nodded once and lowered himself back into his seat. Lorna did not look at the secured latch. She looked at the yellow card. The blue pen moved. Aisle delay, passenger interference. Martin Quill in 22C stopped scrolling through his email, his phone still in his hand. Across the aisle, a woman stared down at her boarding pass as though the paper had suddenly become fascinating. The air in the cabin seemed to tighten. "The bag is secured," Silas said evenly. Lorna capped her pen. "Cabin readiness is not a group activity." She lifted the cabin phone from its cradle on the aft jump seat, the black cord curling like a question mark. "Maya," she said into the receiver, "add a boarding note. Delay caused by passenger non-compliance in row 22. Maya stood near the front cart, a stack of plastic cups in her hands. She looked down the aisle. The bin above row 22 was shut. The diaper bag was inside. The aisle was clear except for Lorna. "Lorna," she said quietly into the phone, "the latch is closed." "I didn't ask about the latch. I asked for the note." Silas sat with his boarding pass on the tray table where Lorna had left it, the paper edge already beginning to curl near the barcode. He picked it up, folded it once, and slid it into his jacket pocket. "Is that a safety issue?" he asked. "Or a delay note?" Lorna lowered the phone. "Crew instructions are not optional." "I followed the instruction you gave me. You involved yourself in cabin readiness. I moved my own bag." A man in row 24 rubbed his thumb along the rim of his coffee lid and turned toward the window. A woman lifted her magazine but did not turn the page. Martin Quill rested his phone against his knee. Lorna noticed. "Recording crew duties during boarding creates a security concern," she said. Martin's hand did not move. "I'm holding my phone." "Then keep holding it lower." Silas met her eyes. "You are turning a closed bin into a passenger issue." Lorna stepped closer, not enough to touch him, but enough to make his knees stay beneath the tray table. "You seem very comfortable correcting women in uniform." Silas said nothing. She waited. When no answer came, she looked at his dress blues again. from shoulder seam to name tape. Some passengers need one instruction repeated because everyone else has to wait while they learn it. Trevor shifted baby Nora to his other shoulder. Paige reached up and touched the overhead bin latch with 2 fingers, as if reassuring herself it was still closed. Maya started down the aisle. "Lorna, we can finish the card. Gate is waiting on sign-off." Lorna turned sharply. "I am finishing it." Then she faced Silas again. "Stand up." Silas looked at the tray table, then at the aisle. "For what purpose?" "Clear aisle compliance." "You want me to stand in the aisle to prove I am not blocking the aisle." "Stand up, Sergeant." He rose slowly, keeping both hands open at his sides. His shoulders stayed beside the seat back. He did not step toward her. Lorna wrote on the yellow card again. "Passenger required repeated aisle instruction." Silas read the line upside down. "That is not accurate," he said. "Write that I stood because you told me to stand." The pen stopped. For a moment, only the boarding scanner at the forward door beeped for a late passenger. Maya was halfway down the aisle. Martin's phone remained near his knee. Trevor lowered his head and whispered to Nora. Lorna's hand moved before Maya reached them. One sharp, open-palmed slap across Silas's cheek. The sound cracked through the cabin. His shoulder pressed back against the seat, the boarding pass inside his jacket pocket crinkling softly. He did not raise a hand. He did not step forward. A stunned hush fell over the nearby rows. Maya stopped, one hand gripping the top of seat 21C. Lorna breathed through her nose. "Now you can be removed for interference." Silas looked at Maya, not at Lorna. "Ask the captain to send the first officer forward," he said calmly. "Tell him this is a crew conduct security issue." Lorna gave a short laugh. "That is not your call." Silas's voice stayed level. "Use those words." First Officer Blake Ford emerged from the cockpit, tablet in hand, jacket unbuttoned from the cockpit seat. Lorna reached him first. "This passenger interfered with cabin readiness, refused instruction, and became confrontational." Blake's eyes moved to the mark on Silas's cheek, then to the yellow card. Silas spoke quietly. "I need to speak to the captain under federal security protocol." Blake's hand tightened around the tablet. He guided Silas into the forward galley and pulled the curtain half closed behind them. The yellow card remained on the jump seat ledge down the aisle, blue ink still fresh beside Lorna's last line. Before taking the matter to Captain Marcus Hale, Blake asked, "Why did you invoke federal security protocol?" Silas reached into the inside pocket of his dress jacket and removed a black credential wallet. He opened it with one hand. Blake looked down at the identification. Federal Air Marshal Service. Silas Mercer. The tablet shifted in Blake's grip. "I am assigned to passive monitoring on this flight," Silas said. "Your crew member created a safety issue, then documented it as passenger interference." Blake glanced towards the curtain. "She said you became confrontational." "She asked me to stand. I stood. She wrote that I required repeated aisle instruction." He added nothing more. Blake opened the cockpit door after completing the security step. Captain Marcus Hale turned from the left seat, checklist still clipped to the yoke. "What happened?" Silas recounted it in order. The diaper bag, the closed latch, the yellow card, the second instruction, the false wording, the strike. Without anger, without embellishment. Captain Hale looked once at Silas's cheek, then at Blake. "Witnesses!" Maya saw the bin secured, Blake said. "Passenger in 22C has video. The family in 23 can confirm the bag issue." Captain Hale picked up the interphone. "Maya, secure the yellow card. Do not let anyone alter it." In the cabin, Maya took the card from the ledge and slid it into a clear plastic service folder. Lorna reached for it. Maya stepped back. Captain's instruction. That was the first time Lorna's hand stopped. In the cockpit, Hale called operations. His words were plain. "Sable Ops, Flight 623 at Gate B17. We cannot depart. Crew conducts security breach. I need station management and airport police at the aircraft." He did not say passenger disturbance. Silas noticed that Captain Hale set the handset down with quiet finality. "Agent Mercer, from my chair. This aircraft does not leave with Ms. Vance performing safety duties. She would be unfit even if I were only a passenger." Silas nodded once. "Agreed." The engines never started. The cabin lights remained in boarding mode. A few passengers reached for their bags, then stopped when Maya asked them to remain seated. Martin Quill held his phone low and saved the video twice. Once to the device, once to cloud storage. Trevor kept one hand on baby Nora's car seat. Paige wrote the time on the back of a boarding receipt. Small things, useful things. Dana Lang boarded through the forward door with an airport police officer behind her. She wore a gray Sable Air blazer and carried a thin red folder. She did not ask Lorna for her side in the aisle. She read from the top page. Lorna Vance, you are removed from duty pending investigation. Your crew tablet, cabin readiness card, and duty badge will be held by station management. Lorna looked toward Captain Hale. I was enforcing procedure. Dana held up the clear folder containing the yellow card. This says passenger interference. The captain's preliminary report says crew conduct breach. That difference is why we are preserving it. Lorna's badge came off the lanyard with a small plastic click. Dana turned to Maya. Open the roster. Maya took the crew tablet from the galley drawer and unlocked the duty screen. Lorna's name sat under active cabin crew, row 3 on the list. Dana entered a code. Removed from safety critical duty. The word active disappeared. Lorna saw it before anyone else. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. The aisle did not need a speech. The screen had already said enough. The flight was canceled, not because of Silas. The corrected irregularity report stated the cause plainly. Crew member removed from safety critical duty. At the gate counter, the delay code was changed before passengers rebooked. Not weather, not mechanical, not passenger conduct. Crew caused disruption. That distinction mattered. It meant meal vouchers, hotel rooms for missed connections, protected rebooking, and a written notice that did not blame the man in row 22. Maya received a protected witness notice before leaving the aircraft. Martin gave his video to Dana with a signed statement. The Bell family signed a short form at the gate counter, the formula pouch still clipped to the diaper bag Silas had made room for. Captain Hale filed his report before he left the airport. One line was typed in plain language. Passenger complied with crew instruction. Crew members' documentation was inaccurate. Silas read it once and handed the tablet back. Thank you for correcting the record. In the aftermath, Sable Air reopened prior cabin readiness cards tied to Lorna's service notes. Same wording, same pattern. Passenger interference, priority procedure, cabin readiness. The old cards were not merely reviewed, they were corrected. Passengers who had been marked as delays received letters stating the notation had been removed from their travel records. Some received refunds. Some received apology calls from a compliance office, not from the cabin service desk that had logged the entries in the first place. Lorna did not return to the jump seat. Her final review cited improper documentation, misuse of safety language, physical misconduct, and retaliation against a junior crew member who had preserved a record. Eventually, in recurrent training, Maya stood before a new yellow card on the table. Under aisle clear, a new box had been added. Crew conduct verified. No cabin could be marked ready until that line was signed. Silas made it home the following morning. He did not tell his son the whole story. He only set his rucksack by the door, took off his uniform jacket, and stood barefoot in the kitchen while coffee brewed. At Sable Air, the yellow card had changed. If the bin was closed and the aisle was clear, the procedure now required one more verification. Yet the question lingered. How many old cards had no one ever checked? When a procedure card tells the wrong story, look for the latch, the timestamp, and the person who is told not to speak. This is a fictional story created for storytelling purposes.